Hey, how are y'all? I am doing really good. Today, my name is Diamond Stylz. I go live. I'm trying to switch to Thursday, but I forgot yesterday because I'm usually doing going live on Friday. I'm trying to switch to Thursday because Fridays have been really busy lately. So I'm trying to switch to Thursdays at 7, but excuse my schedule. So tonight I have an event. I am going to the normal anomalies winter gala. They have a gala this evening, a fundraising gala, and I will be going there. And I have a beautiful brown gown, and I'm just going to be a vision in brown. My hair is going to be long and brown, and I'm just going to be gorgeous. I feel good about tonight because I I I I haven't wore this dress. I've owned it for a while, but I haven't wore it anywhere. So I'm excited. It's all brown. It's like bell sleeves, and it's like a chocolate brown, and it has in the fabric, in the threading is like gold thin thread. So it gives like this kind of beautiful sheen. So I can't wait to wear it. I'm gonna be a vision. You know, you know how you have something that you love, that you feel beautiful in? It's one of those things. Um, so yes, I'm going there tonight. So I can't go live tonight. So I'm going live early. So I can go live and then start getting ready or whatever. So how are y'all doing? Let's see what's going on. Yes. Hey Gigi, hey Jay, hey CL, hey Culture, hey Brandon. Um, Bobo the Fofo. Boo Boo the Foo Foo, or something. How you say it? Is it Foo Foo Fofo? Um, I'm usually used to nighttime live, so I can't really type in because I work overnight. No T. Hey Trishan, how are you? Um, yes. So today we are going to talk about spinning the block. And do y'all know what spinning the block is? Bobo Fofo. Boo boo foo foo. If you was African, boo boo foo foo would be dope. If you're not African, bobo fofo. uh, well, fufu is Nigerian, right? What food is not? Is that fufu is Nigerian? Yeah. So we're gonna talk about spinning the block because I recently have had a couple of exes sliding into my DMs, and I'm like, "What are you? Good shot if you don't got my face." So we're gonna talk about that. You forgot why you left, so you had to return to remember spinning the block. I had to try to spin the block last month. Yes. You look cozy. It's Texas cold these days. It was cold yesterday. Today is okay, Google. What's the current weather?
It's 76 and mostly cloudy.
Oh, it's
Today,
76.
it'll
So
be
no,
partly
it is not
cloudy, with a
cold.
high of
But
77
it
and a
was
low of
cold when I was
69.
outside this morning.
And tomorrow,
It was not 76 when I was outside. And my house feels normal. This is just cozy. And this is my Palestine thing because honey, we support Palestinians over here. Um, but yes, I am cozy. I'm not cold, I'm not hot. I'm just it feels regular. And I have this Palestinian thing on because I'm pro Palestine. That's number one. But also, this sweater is one of my favorite sweatshirts. But I got kicked out of a restaurant because of this sweatshirt. It says, "Our pussies, our choice." And I wore this, and I had a dress on. I had my wild hair. I was looking fly. I was looking dope to me. And and they kicked me out of the restaurant because they said it was against dress code. And I was going, and it was a fancy restaurant, and they had said because this was lewd, and I was like, okay. I went home. It was a restaurant by me, so I had time to go home and change. But girl, they were trying. I felt like they were trying it. That's why I can't do Texas. I like to get into my fall and winter fashions. That is the only negative about living in Texas. I can't do my fashions. I want to do furs and coats and you do have 2 months to do that. January and February, you got a cute 2 months to do it. It gets regularly cold during those times. But yeah, I do miss fall fashions, but luckily for me, I do travel during the fall. And so I'm able to, like, when you go to San Francisco, you can bust out your fall fashions. We can go to New York. Anything, I travel enough to where I can at least bust it out then, even if I can't bust it out at home. But I totally agree. But I also don't want to I don't want to I don't like the cold like that no more. The frigid cold. No, give me a 50. The lowest is gonna be a high 40 something, but a low 50. Yeah, if you get in below 40, baby, anything below 45, below 48, 47, anything below 50, really keep that. I can't do nothing like that. I hate the cold. Same. Let me go back and read because I missed some stuff. Can we talk about the men folk and their fold ways? What do you mean by that, Shashan? Fold ways? What is that? Is it Mercury in retrograde? That's usually when my exes start showing back up. I don't know. I don't. I love astrology, but not that deep in it. I don't know about. I know my sun sign, my moon sign, and my rising. I know my top three. Oh, and my Venus, where my Venus is. The rest of I don't know. Um, my sun sign is Pisces. My moon is in Capricorn. My rising sign is Virgo, and my Venus is in Pisces. So if that means anything, somebody that fits me well. Tell them to slide my way. Hey, Darcel. I need to bring you on the show, Darcel. I want to talk to you about some spiritual stuff on some funny kiki level stuff. I need some your contact information so I can set up a time to bring you on. Let's kiki about EFI or Orisha worship or something, some kind of black spirituality, something. I would love to get you on to talk about that. Um, yeah, I made an email when I was young while I was arguing with somebody and asked myself if I was Bobo the fool, the email wasn't available. Stupid, I know. I know. That's not stupid. I like classic. I like people who have names that they keep them for so long. They made them up, not thinking about it, and they keep them. It's something that it's something un, unique to an era that era reminds me of. It reminds me of the dial-up era. It reminds me of it, those things are unique to our era that I think is kind of nostalgic and romantic to growing up when the internet is starting to boom. So I like that. I think it's um, is endearing the right word? I think it's endearing. Yes. Um, I'm going to Colorado in March, and I am looking forward to pulling out the winter coat and furs. Yes, Colorado is beautiful in the fall and winter. So much. It's cold as hell. Get you some gummies because that gummies is cute. The best gummies, edibles, I like is in Seattle, but I like the ones in Denver. But I thought Denver was so pretty. I didn't make no money in Denver, but Denver was so pretty. Um, there is a train that drives through Denver through the Colorados. There's like a very scenic train that drives through them that I want to ride on. There's a couple of so I'm into doing um experience travel. So I like to do things just for the experience. So there's a couple of places in the United States that I hate that I don't drive. Did y'all know that? I don't drive. I hate that. I wish that I drive because there were certain things that I would experience that you only can get to if you drove. And so I hate that I don't drive, but I'm an experienced travel person. So there's a couple of places. There are certain trains that I want to ride that are intentionally like beautifully scenic. And there's one that goes through Denver and through the Rocky Mountains, and I wanted to ride that train. There is here in Texas, there's a place called Jacob's Hole that's really, really nice. It's like a kind of quixote, cenote, is that how you say it in Spanish? Cenote kind of place that I want to experience. Um, my brother went to this beautiful place in Idaho. There's a trans woman who kind of she was a midwife to like 1,500 kids in Great Falls, Idaho. Mother George. I think I talked about her before, but Mother George, look her up, all that kind of stuff. I want to go in that area and just so I can have a physical manifestation, so I get an actual in person manifestation of me imagining how she lived in that time during being a pioneer woman of sorts, delivering cis women babies. I live for that. Um, I want to go up there. My brother said he had an amazing time in Idaho, and me and my brother black, and so for him to say he had a dope time and it was beautiful, yes, yes, I want to do that. Also, I have a dream of two things in Maine. I want to go to Maine and I want to be at a seaside bed and breakfast. I want it to be cold. I want to have a fire. I want it to be a seaside bed and breakfast, so some type of bed and breakfast on the sea, on the seashore, and I want to be on the porch or in the yard with a fire pit, drinking hot cocoa and with a cover wrapped around me. That is a fantasy I really, really want to create. Be on some white woman shit. But I want there, and I want to drink some hot cocoa and eat some clam chowder. And then in the morning, do or lunch or dinner, do like some lobster in Maine. I want to create that fantasy for myself. So go like Arcadia, like the Arcadia National Park, and just do something there. It'd be a one-time trip, unless you fall in love and want to take somebody there. But I want to go and experience that. Um, yeah, it made me think of Colorado. Made me think about that. Think about cold weather excursions. I do want to visit. Um, is it Anchorage? Anchorage, Alaska. Is that how you say it? Anchorage, Alaska. I want to be there when the either when the sun stays down or is only up or something. I can't remember. You know how sometimes it stays up all the time and sometimes it stays down. I just don't want it to be super, super cold. But yes, Alaska. Um, I want to go to Alaska. I was actually offered a job in Alaska. They were opening a Bath and Body Works there, and they were having a hard time finding a person to take the position because it's Bath and Body Works in Alaska. And so they were opening a new store, and they asked. I was like top four, top three in my city here in Houston, which we have the number two market at Bath and Body Works. So I was the number three store in my district, in the number two district in the country. And so anybody that does that well in big districts, they kind of pitch them to go to other places. So they were like, "Ooh, apply for this position in Alaska," and they were paying an astronomical rate. And I had to really be tempted to be like, do I want to go to Alaska for for a year or two? But I was like, oh no, ain't no trade in Alaska. What does Alaska trade even look like? But then I saw, then like right 6 months after I turned down the job, they were doing, I don't know if y'all remember, there was this I don't know if it's a documentary, but web series that was showing hoods in America, but in these kind of obscure places, and they were showing hoods in Alaska. It was so funny and dope. And I was like, "Oh, it's some niggas out there. What's up?" Am I scared to drive? No. Partly no, partly yes. So I have, people don't know this, but I have very acute ADHD. And very acute. And so I'm the type of person that I will be driving and my brain will go somewhere. And I'll run into the back of a motherfucker. So I done got in a couple accidents. And I don't trust myself. I'll kill myself, baby. Cause I'll be driving and my brain will go somewhere and it won't be on the road. And I done ran into people. So not scared. Like I know how to drive. I'm just a very, my brain goes. My brain goes and do stuff. That's why I would never work a job where I have to um, you know, do machinery and shit like that. Yes, that's why the blessing of a Uber and a Lyft, baby. Ooh, baby, that was a blessing when they created that, baby. Whoever was the mind child of that. Oh God. Uh, let me see. Let me scroll up. Speaking of fashions, I'm gonna need a chasing thread fist. So I could do chasing threads all the time because I love Chance. Chance is one of my favorite white people. um, of the very few. Chance is one of my favorite white people. But Chance, two things. Chance has oh, because I'm using, I don't know what's happening, but something happens where I get to do stuff and it does stuff. Do y'all see that? I don't know. Anyway, I think that was my Zoom. So Chance's laptop broke and he can't afford to get a new one. So I'm not about to buy him one. But until he gets a new one, then we can record. But and also Chance be going in and out of crises. Even though he got a husband and he happy and living in Seattle, and in regards to that, he be going through imposter syndrome and not feeling good enough. And you know how some people are, they have that kind of disabling mentality about themselves. So sometimes he be having that. And so it doesn't inspire him to be recorded. So sometimes you gotta boost him up, or sometimes you can't. So yes, when he gets his laptop back, we'll be back. But I love chasing threads. I love it because we talk about fashion and it ain't about trans stuff. Doing a podcast every week about trans stuff can get kind of boring. Um, Well, sorry, men folk and their folk ways, men folk ways. Why do we want them? Why do we want men? What specifically about men? What do we talk about? I don't think all men are bad. I think the culture of men is bad. I think you just got to find some of them that are willing to work through it. Um, yeah, retrograde doesn't start until the 13th. Utah Braid Shop. Hey, Utah Braid Shop. Hey, Diamond. Hopefully, this doesn't sound rude because this topic is really taboo, but I just want you to say you're looking very slim. Oh, thank you. So, anybody who has been listening to me knows that I got gastric surgery on August the 2nd. And so you're going to continue to see me lose weight, and I am losing weight. I am one I'm not one nothing. Hell no, not one nothing. I am 289 and I started off at 335. So you're going to continue to see me get slimmer and slimmer and slimmer because of the surgery. I have gotten small enough to where my stomach isn't flabby, but you see my surgical scar right there and right there. And my stretch marks, but it's not looking weird yet. I don't know if it's gonna look weird. My doctor said it's not gonna look weird because I'm losing weight slow. I remember somebody was reading saying my butterfly had got big and stretched out. Now it's getting back little. See, my fat rolls are getting smaller. So yeah, it's just getting a little jiggly. But yeah, I am losing weight. Thank you for noticing. Um. So yes. Are you scared to drive? I'm going on the Royal George train when I go. It is the open air cart and goes through the mountains. Open air. Ooh, in the winter? Ooh, no. You rock diamond. Um. Oh yeah, that ass ain't going nowhere. Well, you got to understand. Before I got bigger. I was pumped. I got silicone and everything. So, um, it ain't going. I unlike other people who lose everything. That stuff ain't going nowhere. Where I'm gonna lose weight is here. It ain't gonna be my titties because these is sealed. These is not implants. These are sealed, so these is gonna stay where they at. Only thing is gonna get smaller is my arms and my stomach because that's where the fat is. Everything else is just gonna make me look like I got an hourglass figure, which is what you want, what you want, what you want. um, Let me see. Did I miss something? Hold on. You rock diamond. This is Will. You look gorgeous as well. Hey, Will. How are you? Trim work in Alaska. Trade isn't bad, but it's too cold. Oh yeah, you get in the passenger seat. Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. Am I high? What high for what? Wait, am I tripping? What do y'all say y'all high for? Hey, Miss Milburn. You know I always call you Miss Milburn because your last name is easier for me to remember how to pronounce. I'd be like, lace? Is it lace? I always wanted to see the Northern Lights. Yes, I think I can't. That's something I want to see, but I want to see that in like Iceland. I want to go to Iceland and go to the black sand beaches. That's a goal. I want to go with my brother though, because we into stuff like that. Hey, Serenity. Congratulations. I would have never known. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. That ass still assing. It's not going nowhere. Speaking of men, you still trying to be Jonathan Major, Coretta Scott King, Michelle Obama? I still would have, I like a toxic, abusive man, on the side piece, because we'll fight each other. That's the thing about it. I'm gonna mace you and beat you with a bat. You might get some licks off, but know that I'm gonna get my lick back. So I don't mind a toxic man. You are, y'all are mentally strong. Y'all are mentally strong. Anytime somebody says that, I feel like it's shade. What do you mean by that? And Evelina, you always got some slick ass, borderline, backhanded compliments. So, what do you mean by y'all are mentally strong? What does that mean? I be this close to blocking you sometimes. So y'all did see the bubble balloon. So y'all did see it. Okay, so it works. Oh, it does it. So this shit got to doing one time, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" You do the piece for the bubbles. I think the balloon. I think the piece it does the balloons. I think the piece does the balloons, and the thumbs up does the thumbs up. I think it does it. Yeah. Which I love because I'll be like, yeah, make sure y'all thumbs up without actually saying it. So yeah, it's 23 people in here. Make sure y'all thumbs up. Oh, see, I thought it was on Zoom. I didn't know it was on the screen. What other ones? Do y'all know what other ones you can do? I know the thumbs up. I know the balloons. Um, what is it a fist? Is there one that's for fist? I don't know. Black power, my nigga. It need to be a Pan African flag. Lala is fine too. Okay. This makes lasers. This is like some rocket. This not doing no lasers. You got me putting up Illuminati signs. So you can take screenshots. Try it with two hands. Oh, yay! That is cute. I feel like somebody grandma. Yes, do it. The kids is teaching me stuff. Work. Why this is so white? Why do they make it this? Girl, what? You can tell some white people made that. So what else? So okay, we got the heart. Okay, the heart was easy. I have figured out the heart. I did that the other night. I did the thumbs up on. This is what I did first on accident, and I wasn't even trying to thumbs up. I don't know why I think I was doing like this or something. I was doing like this or something, like just kind of chilling, and it did it. So I was like, oh, what the fuck? What other ones? Y'all need to give me a list of stuff. So we got the laser. Try it with two hands. Okay, we got the laser. We got the hearts. We got the balloons. The peace sign is the balloons. I love the balloons. The balloons is cute. Not y'all saying y'all thought y'all was high. Y'all silly. Not the Jewish curse. Just don't point that at anyone. She said, I'm gonna put her ass in timeout. Yeah, honey. Sometimes she be trying it. I be trying to let her slide because it don't be direct. And I can't tell. Sometimes people be socially awkward and they don't know how to keep it cool, but they don't intentionally try to be cute. But sometimes she be in my comments on like different videos and she's saying little shit that I'm like, is this bitch trying to be funny? What's the tallest dude that y'all have ever dated or messed with? Um 6'11". He was an NBA player, a celebrity NBA player. He has retired now, but he was popping when I was a young girl. Um, who else? Yeah, 6'11". I think he was 6'11". Let me look. Yeah, 6'11". 6'4", but I've always dreamed of huger than that. Denethan, my friend Denethan, who I've had on my channel, we messed around. We don't talk no more. We still friends though. He was 6'3". He was 6'3". I'm not 6'3". He was 6'5". Not 6'3". That's kind of normal. He was 6'5". Um, who else tall? Most of my dudes are tall because I'm tall. Yeah, the Denny's man. Yeah, he was 6'5". I'm 5'11", so I need somebody over 6 foot at least. Because the beautiful thing about Denethan is because he's 6'5", if I put on heels, I'm still shorter than him. So I could go to clubs and shit with him, and we be looking like the fire ass giant couple, which I love. Um, and Denethan is like a gentleman. He's like a Southern gentleman, and anybody from the South know there's a uniqueness to how Southern gentlemen treat you when y'all are out. It's a swag. Um, and he was raised by his mother and father, and his mother is, I don't know if she's a female narcissist. I don't know if she a female narcissist. She might be. I think she might be. I'm not 100% sure. I don't want to diagnose her, but I think that she's a female narcissist. And so because of that, she trained him to treat women in a very distinct way. And so he, how he engages with women is so um romantically Southern gentleman. Like, I mean, opening doors. When you're around him, he's like an alpha male, but his arm is going to be, he's going to lead you through the door. He's going to lead you. If you walking down the street, he got his arm around your waist. Um, if he's sitting around you, it's just how he moves is very Southern gentleman. Like, it's nothing. It's hard to explain. if you country Southern gentleman, there's no other way to describe it. Gentleman, like very alpha masculine dude. So you always feel like a woman. Like when you're in his presence, you always feel like a woman. Like amazing. Whenever you mention him, I think of the witch story. Yes. Um, very disappointing dick for his height. I have a basketball friend. So who I was just talking about is my old NBA basketball friend. This dude, he plays professional basketball, but he plays for a foreign country, but he's from here. I've been dealing with him for years too. And he is 6'7". I think he's 6'7". Yes, he is 6'7". He is 6'7", and his piece is late. But we have it ain't late. Let me read. It's not late. It's average. It's an average piece on an above average dude. So it looks average on him, but it actually gets the job done because it's an average piece. But on his big ass body, it looks small on his big ass body. But it's a very average piece. It's not like little. It's just regular. It's just a regular dick. But because you don't have because you 6'7", that regular dick looks small on you. When I was a young girl, the girls wanted Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Ooh. No, thank you. I really enjoy the huge appendages, and when they are soft, kind of literally too much. Oh yeah, I don't have honestly, if I tell you the truth, I don't have really good luck when it comes to big pieces on big men. Most of the men who are tall in stature, they the ones I've come in contact, I don't want to generalize them, but the one I come in contact, they have really regular piece. Now I've met some that was like, oh, damn, it is huge. But that's not really common for me. The places where I get the heights where I get the jumbos with a good meat set between 5'8" and 5'10", let's say 5'11", 5'8" to 5'11", let's say 5'10". 5'8" to 5'10", that's where I find the best meat. As far as if you're a size queen, that's where I find the best meat. Yeah, outside of that, they are a bit heightened, but once they are home, they disarm. I'm just been with a couple men like that, but it's great. Like Diamond said, it's kind of indescribable. Oh, we talk about the gentleman, yes. When I wear heels, I'm 5'11" too. Oh, then you have the perfect height. If you 5'11" with heels, I think that's the perfect height. I think anybody who is like 5'7", 5'7", 5'8", I think that is for a woman is a perfect height because you are you still for a woman you're still tall, but you're not so tall that it's like what? Like it's not clocky tall. You still tall to make you stand out when you're next to other women, but you but not you're not tall where it's like clocky tall. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think 5'11", 5'11" is okay on a day-to-day basis, but when you got on heels, it's too clocky to me because I'm 5'11". So when I have on heels, I have to be on. Like I have to be done because when you that's a it's that height and you're a woman, it brings so much attention to you when you have on heels. Like 5'11", you still tall for a cis woman, but you not so 5'11" isn't towering over niggas. When you got on heels and you 5'11", you would be towering over dudes. It's noticeable. Because and who is wearing a fucking 2-inch heel? Usually a nice, beautiful heel is gonna be like 4 to 5 inches. You get what I'm saying? 4 to 5. Yeah, 4 to 5 inches. So you adding 4 to 5 inches to 5'11", you up in that 6'3" realm. 6'3", 6'4". Yeah, so it's kind of clocky. So you gotta be done. Hands and the legs. Even seeing them laying down, you see the length of their body. You think, oh my God, but you can't imagine a man reaching. Mm. Hmm. So we done talked for a whole 42 minutes without talking about the actual subject. All right, so we gonna talk about what is happening. So let's go. I got a couple of these. So let's go down memory lane. I actually have never talked about this dude because he wasn't because he wasn't one of the ones. He was an important entity, but he wasn't one of the ones. Like, so I never really talked about him. I never really talked about him on my channel because yeah, he wasn't one of the ones. And so he was an important entity, but yeah. So let me give you the background of this guy. And the theme of this episode is spinning the block. So this is about um the people I'm going to talk about. They have spun the block on me. They have came back and tried to, you know, talk to me again or whatever. So anybody who knows my story, I went to a group home when I was 12 because my mom went to prison. Um, I couldn't stay with my grandma because my grandma. Well, I went to my grandmother at first, but because I was queer at the time, trans, queer, gay, all that stuff, I hadn't figured it out because I was so young. I hadn't figured it out yet. So when I say and when I say gay too, like if I call myself gay, because I use gay as an identity descriptor too. I know some people be like, "Oh, you're not gay." When I say gay, I mean gay community. So gay to me means the same thing as LGBTQIA plus. That so when I say gay, I mean all of us. Um, so I use that as a descriptor. When I say queer, I mean other, different. It could be sexuality, it could be just different, queer. It's not necessarily sexuality. There's some people who I consider queer that are not gay. It you know, sometimes it's queer. When I say queer, it's a political identity. Um, it's a political identity. It's a intertwined with sexuality, but not necessarily exclusively sexuality. Um, the best way for me to describe it is other, outside of politically correctness. Yes, that's what we're talking about. Exes, backstories, or not necessarily exes, but past flings that spin the block. Spin the block. That's what spin the block means. Um, so this is a time when I was queer, and my grandmother was, my grandmother is one of the meanest people that I know. Like naturally mean. They're just a naturally mean. She was just a naturally mean woman, and so, um, she was a girl, a woman. So you know how in the South, not just in the South, Midwest South. I don't know if that what they call it in up north or whatever, because um we call it color struck. Which do y'all call it color struck? Anybody like from the East Coast or like up north in that area, not Midwest or the South, because I know that area quite well. I only stayed in Boston for like 3 4 years. So, and because I was from the country, they considered me country. So, it was a whole different thing. Anyway, we call it color struck. But what do y'all call when somebody prefer light skinned people? What do y'all call it in y'all area? So in the South, we call it color struck. If you usually Midwest color struck, what y'all call it in y'all area? Like if you on the West Coast, what y'all call it? Do y'all have a name for it? I can imagine the West Coast don't have a name for it because everybody is so mixy out here. I'm not out there, but it's so mixy on the West Coast. Anyway, my I have a color struck family, and so but my grandmother, you know how people, we know what that means, but my grandmother has, it's almost whatever the equivalent is, but with gender. So my grandmother loves boy children. So instead of her loving light skinned children, she would like my great grandmother was that. She was color struck. She liked light skinned children. Um, my grandmother, she liked boy children. So how she treat boys and how she treat girls is different. And so definitely homophobe. So me coming out as this light-skinned little boy, she thought that I was going to be this amazing little thing to her. But once my queerness started to jump on out, and that was quite early, before very, very early, um, she stopped liking me. Now my little brother, she loved my little brother. Um, so she basically kicked me out early in when I was like 12, kicked me out of her house and told me directly that I can't be in her house with all that agate. shit. And so I literally had to sleep in a car, an abandoned car, for like 30 days. Um, and this dude by the name of Frog, there used to be, let me see, did they close Frogs down? Okay, Google. Frog's convenience store in Indianapolis on 30th in College.
These are the top results.
Oh, wow, it is. So it wasn't a convenience store, it was a record mart, and it has closed. It was called Frog's Record Mart. And yes, I do remember going in there and it was a bunch of records in there. So, oh, it used to be a record store. So, but because I was a kid, it was the candy store for us. So we would go and buy candy and stuff. So it was Frogs. And but yeah, so Frog. So I lived off of 29th and Broadway, and it was a time in my life where um everything was going wrong. Like my mom, this is like my mom's deep cut addiction shit. We were moving all around different places. We were living in this house with my brother's great grandfather or grandfather, and he was mean and old, and I just wasn't happy. This was a bad time. I was young and not wanting to be a boy. And this is a time when the girls are turning into girls. They're, you know what I'm saying, when you before puberty, boys and girls kind of look alike. For real, other than the outside stuff, like as far as physicality, everybody's skinny, small, flat chested. So when you get to that kind of 11, 12, 13 era, that's when them fucking periods starts. That's when them period starts. And so colorist. I don't really, yeah, colorist is new. I ain't we didn't call colorist is a new, more political term. I didn't hear people until 2015, until this whole Black Lives Matter thing went boosting. People start talking about colorism. People were talking about it, but way before then, but that language, being a colorist, that language of it, that's kind of new. I just started hearing that. The concept of colorism is not new, but the language of calling somebody a colorist, I never heard nobody calling nobody a colorist growing up. I never heard that. Um, um, yeah. Anyway, so when you're young, the girls, y'all, it really wasn't much difference. When you're young, it wasn't much difference. And so, but around 11, 12, 13, that's when when the bodies start getting full, periods start, you know, the earliest a period could start usually is like, it could be really early, but 7, 8. But this is time when periods are starting. Um, and periods are starting earlier than in this generation than it did in our generations back in the day. Um, so boys are starting to be fast. Like before this, like when you're 9, 8, 9, 10, playing and having fun was about playing and having fun. When you get into this early teenage stage, it started to be boyfriend, girlfriend. You get what I'm saying? So girls are fighting for boys are fighting for girls. They trying to impress the girls. Like it starts to change socially. But even psychologically, of course, we know chemically, physically, humans are changing. But if you read books about boyhood and boy adolescence, there was this study done where they talked to boys in their teens, in their early teens, and they revisited them in their late teens. And there is a social change that happens with boys. Their relationships get harder for them, and not just with like girls, with the other boys, because this is also when they start to be informed of how to be a man. And so that's when these toxic masculinity traits start to come up. The competitiveness, the there's this book. Oh God, I hate that I wasn't prepared for it. I didn't know I was gonna say talk about this. I would have had the book for y'all. Um but yes, it is a great book that I'll have to share with y'all another time. But it talks about that change that boys have. Anyway, so that shit start to happen. And as a trans person in the middle of this shift happening, it is very weird because I am hanging around girls wanting to be just like them and do what they do. Um and because we're kids and we don't have the language of transness and all that kind of stuff, and they don't have the political ideology that comes with being anti-gay and being anti LGBT at this younger age. They don't have that kind of ideology that like adults have. They still have that innocence of not, they may know what it means a little bit, but not the political, either for it or against it, because you're making a political decision when you, as an adult, you're forced to make a political stance about LGBT shit. Do you see what I'm saying? You're forced to either be cool and down for it or against it. Or, oh, I don't, some people be like, oh, I don't condone it because of my religion, but I feel like people have the right to do what they want with their body. That is even though it's kind of a middle of the road fence riding ass response, it's a political stance. And so, I hate that I got my camera over here because I'm not looking my laptop over here because I can't see what y'all saying. I'm not looking at that. Um, but yeah, so you have to make a political stance. But as a teen or a preteen adolescent, you haven't made those stances yet. Do you feel what I'm saying? You haven't gone into adulthood and being forced to make that kind of political stance. Um, so because of that, it was a little more free. I don't know what's happened. I don't think they have them now. They might, I don't know. But back when I was growing up, we had clubs. We had clubs for teenagers that would be open to 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't know what they were thinking. But we had this club excuse me, called Uptown. And we would be in there till 2 o'clock in the morning till our parents came and picked us up. And so I'm just in there with the girls, and I'm socializing with the girls like I'm one of them. And so they're treating me like I'm a part of their pack. And so the dudes are responding to me. Um yeah, it's just an interesting time. But it was a yeah, it was a little it was a hard time. There was some beauty in it, but it was a hard time. Anyway, so my mom went to prison, and and I said all that to say this. I was sleeping in a car, homeless for about a month, and I was sleeping in the car outside of Frog's Record Mart. It is closed now. It was a classic store in Indianapolis during the time, and Frog knew me because I used to live in this neighborhood. And when my grandmother kicked me out, I went back to this neighborhood because this is the neighborhood that I was familiar with and had at least some positive experience with. And so, and I remember the car, and I chose to get in that car because um I didn't have no place to go. And so that car was the only that was the only place I could think of because I grew up in that area. So I couldn't think of anywhere to go. I couldn't think of any kind of abandoned houses. I couldn't think of I just thought of that car. But anyway, I got my jacket and I slept in the car. So I guess one time Frog seen me get in the car because what I didn't know is that in his record shop, his apartment, he owned the whole building. So his apartment was in the top, was in the top of there. So he could see me sleeping in the car. I guess he saw me sleeping in the car one time and he called the police. And so the police came and woke me up and said, asked me was I homeless and how old I was. And then they end up taking me to the Guardian home. And so once I got to the Guardian home, once they get you in a Guardian home, they put you in this program called Chins. Chins is the program that me and Ty was in. Why me and Ty was in a group home together, we both was in Chins. Um, and so Chins is children, child. One of the N's starts with the word is neglect. The C is children's children something. It's a children. Let me see if they. I'll be googling everything. Um, um, Chin's program, Indianapolis. Now it's bringing. Oh, it is. It's Chin. Chin. Um. Yes, it is when basically when child's protective services come and fucks with you. It means child in need of services. Or chins for short. So the will to change by bell hooks. No, it is it's a white psychologist, a white woman psychologist that her focus is um adolescent boys. Anyway, so I was in Chins, and they when you in Chins, they put you in a guardian home, and the guardian home is like a way station. Like that's where you go before they decide what they're gonna do with you. If you either gonna go back to your parents, or you're gonna go back to your parents, or you're gonna go to a group home, or you're gonna go to juvenile if you like create if you were like a delinquent and got some warrants or something, or a truant. That um so um so I go to the Guardian home. Guardian home is food was delicious, but that's what I remember. Guardian home. This is 93, 94, and R. Kelly is out. Like anytime I hear R. Kelly, temperatures rising, your body's yearning for me. Anytime I hear R. Kelly, I think about this time because that album was out, which is very annoying because I really fell in love with music. Um, Fell in love with R&B music during this time because R. Kelly was the king of R&B, despite the gross person that he is now. During that time, 93, 94, this was the rise of R. Kelly. And so that music reminded me of that time. All the kids were listening to it. The adults were listening to it. It was I just remember them playing R. Kelly all the time on the radio, different things. Um, Janae, well, it's a groove thing. You got a funky swing. Well, it's a groove thing, a groove thing. You're moving on, keep it strong. I can't let you lead around. It's a groove thing. Whatever. I love that song. Or sending my love to you, waiting for you. Sending it with a kiss, sending my love. This is the soundtrack of that time. Anyway, so they put you in the guardian home. Then you keep going back to court, and I'm giving all of this as like an archive too, just so if somebody's listening to this video in the future, I'm giving this detail so they can know it. Um, so you go back and forth to court, and they're deciding. Your parents got to show up. My mom was strung out on drugs, so she didn't show up. Because she also had a warrant. My mom had a warrant, so she couldn't go engage with the police. So because she was on the run from the police, so she couldn't really engage with the court system like that. So which is why I end up going to, which is why she gave me to my grandmother, but because my grandmother kicked me out because I was queer, now it's like, oh, I can't even come to the court because then they're gonna lock me up because I got a warrant. Da, 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 da. So my mother couldn't even engage with the court system like that. So they put me in a group home, and the group home was called Evans House. So the stories that I told y'all about the group home, most of those stories, they were in Morris house. So Evans house is the little boy's house, like the teenage not teenage, younger teenage boys. So or young. So usually it's gonna be like the youngest person that I knew there was like 11. But once you hit like 14, you gotta go to the bigger boys' dorm. And then you go into you're the youngest there now. But so yeah, anyway. So most people who live in Evans house were young. So when I went there, um, this is my first time with all the boys, um and how a group home works is a lot of people think group homes are like, I don't know. I don't want to talk about other people's experience because I don't know how they experience in other cities, but in our cities, it's living in a house, not a regular house, like a house with a bunch of rooms. Not like some of them look like regular houses, some of them, but the unusual part is they have to be up to code, not for a family. They have to be up to code for a group home. And so there is an industrial lookingness. Once you get on the inside, it may look like a regular house on the outside, but when you get on the inside, you can tell this is not a regular home. Because it has to be up to a certain code to house us. And so I'm trying to give y'all as much details as possible. um, so you go in and you are thrown in this house with nothing but boys. Nothing but boys. And it could be, depending on how full it is, sometimes the whole house could be full and y'all are in bunk beds, like it's two people to a room. And sometimes they don't, it's not, because some people got released, some people got kicked out of the group home because if you fight too much or you attack the staff or you're just a problem child in regards to, usually it's physical, if it's that kind of stuff. You can get kicked out and they'll put you in juvenile, which you don't want to do that because juvenile is for criminals. And if you didn't do criminal stuff, you don't really want to go to the home. And they'll put you in mental facilities. It's tons of shit like that. Depending on how far you go in regards to violence. So they put you in this house, and it's about 8. Ours was like 8 boys. Sometimes it'll be like the lowest number I remember being in there was like 4, but mostly the house could hold 16 boys, and I've been in there when it was 16, but usually it's like 8 to eh, 6 to 10. Yeah, 6 to 10. That's the average. Um, so so imagine you've lived with your people all your life, and then they just put you in this house with all these boys that range from, you know, 11 to 14. And so it's tons of personalities, it's tons of and these are young boys, so it's tons of childish shit, to just I don't know, it's just weird. It's kind of when I first went in there, it's strange. So as I got acclimated to the experience, acclimated to living in a house with a bunch of boys. And then the staff members is women and men, older women and men, um, usually older than us. There's some there were in their 20s. There's some of them that was in their 40s, but it ranges between 20s and 40s. Women, we had white women, black men. That was the common staff member, white woman and black men, older black man, younger white woman. The lead dude was an older white man. Um, we had two dudes that were not Cliff, but one of them was my favorite. Fred, he was my favorite. He was just an older black man that was cool as hell, that just admired me, and so he was so affirming. Um, and then we had Miss Andrea, Miss Sam, Miss Melissa. And these are just Melissa was like in her 30s. Sam was in her early 20s. Andrea was the youngest, and she was like in her early 20s. I think she was like 23. And Sam probably was like 20. Sam, probably like 27. But this is the staff members. And they were you know, it's crazy, y'all. It's like sometimes like the kids is acting good, and sometimes it's chaotic in that motherfucker. there and everybody range in mental capacity. Everybody is like, we had one that was like, hey, hey, hey Ty. Um, so everybody range in mental capacity. So I the more extreme one. So there was one. His name was David. David, he pissed the bed, so nobody could be his roommate because he always fucking pissing on himself, and so nobody wanted to be in the bedroom with him. Um, he wasn't. This is a teenager that wasn't potty trained, and this comes with trauma and shit. So that's somebody in the house. Then you have Raymond. Raymond and Brad, they seem like they're the normal typical boys, typical macho masculine boys that are playful, football players, basketball players, watch sports, typical boys. But they also can be violent. When they get mad, they can't control their emotions, so they can be really, really violent. And so, yeah. And then you have this one who is, I think his name was Steve. He was fat. He was more like a fat boy. And so, but he was mean as hell to people who he feel like he could bully. And so he was always getting roasted for being fat, but he was always bullying the little kids. So you didn't really feel sorry for him because he was a bully, but he also got bullied because he was fat. So it was kind of that was dynamic. Then you have me. I'm the precocious, smart, gay one. Flamboyant gay. Not I don't think I was ever flamboyant, like, hey, honey girl child, but just a natural femininity. Um and so and every time you bring somebody else comes in, it's a different personality. Then I remember Deontay. Then you got Frank, Chucky and Frankie. Chucky and Frankie are like typical hood black boys that got swag. They got swag. Chucky had a pee in the bed problem too. Um, Frankie was just a hood boy that had swag. He was handsome. He was cute. Um, Sometimes you will bring they'll bring siblings in because they don't want to separate them. So they'll bring siblings in. So one of the siblings was Brian and his brother Aaron. I think his brother was Anthony or Aaron. I can't remember Brian's. Todd, do you remember Brian's brother's name? It was Anthony or Aaron. Let me look. I can't remember. Anyway, I thought we talked about it. Anyway, so I'm telling y'all all this. So I'm giving y'all every month or every 2 months, somebody new is coming in or somebody is leaving because some people are getting released, going back to their families. Some people are getting, it just depends. Every few months, somebody is coming in, and it's an emotionally draining time. But what made it more comfortable for me is once I decided that I wasn't leaving. So it was supposed to be temporary for me because my mother had went to a halfway house and she was supposed to get out and get on her feet, and I go back and stay with her. So it was supposed to be a temporary thing, but my mama just went back, relapsed. When she got out of prison, she went out of the halfway house, she relapsed and went on to not do what she was supposed to do. So I was stuck, and so I couldn't get out of the group home. So once I decided, because I made this decision myself, I was no longer going to try to get reunited back with my mom. I was just going to stay in the group home until till I got emancipated and aged out and had my own place. And so that was a decision that I made because I just didn't see my mom getting better. My mom was out there in the streets. And so yeah, I didn't see her getting better. So anyway, I say, so anyway, I'm giving y'all of the nature of what's going on. What I loved about the group home, what it taught me very, very early on in my life is how to maneuver multiple personalities, which is what I do in my work now. There's so many multiple personalities that you got to deal with. Good, bad, ugly, weirdos, um, normal people, super, super intelligent, super, super dumb. Um, just you got to navigate multiple personalities and how to navigate it in a way and still get what you want. And so in that group home, it taught me the power of who I was, the power of the hierarchy of the world in patriarchal terms. Um, because there's always an alpha male in normal settings. I feel normal. I don't know. I think adding me to any setting makes the setting abnormal. But on a sociological level. But normal settings, when you have regular boys that are not queer, there's always gonna be, a leader type dude in the circle. Do you see what I'm saying? Even if the other ones have their own mind, and it's still there's still a leader type quality to him. Does that make sense? Do y'all agree? There's always one main one. Um, People love to call it alpha male, but no, not necessarily. Um, but when you put the thing about it is when you put me in a scenario with men, well, not with men, we was boys. When you put me in a scenario with boys, um, No, I didn't have the physicality of a regular boy, but I was smart and people liked me. And so that there's some power that comes with that. And so where no, I could, and I was a fighter, so you couldn't just bully me because I beat your ass. Stop playing with me. Um, you not gonna just bully me and make me feel all weak and stupid. No. And so in the scenario, there was a hierarchy in the house who and the staff members knew it, like the adult staff members. Like I had the power to influence the boys to act a fool, and I had the power to influence the boys to calm down for various reasons. Sometimes they liked me on a sexual level. Sometimes I just was smart. Sometimes there's a brotherhood that kind of grows in a group home just based on y'all in a group home. And when y'all go to school, people will start rumors about you being in the group home and say all kind of stuff about you. And it was a shameful thing that they try to use to kind of bully you. And so there have been many times that I had to fight with some of the boys, fight with them as like a team against some of the neighborhood dudes that was trying to bully them and fight them because we all was in a group home. There's been many things like there was many situations like that. One of the situations was Brian. So Brian is one of the ones that came with his brother. And I came with his brother. And so his brother was young. His brother was like, I wanted to say his brother was like 11. And he was my age. And we were like 13, 12, 13, around there. And he these dudes, we all went to Short Ridge, and these dudes was fucking with him, and he was like, "Yo, he's coming from the school and walking to the group home, and the group home was right across the street from the school. So the dudes from the school was calling him crazy. They was like, "Oh, you live in that nut house. You live in them crazy people's house. You live in there with all them boys cuz y'all crazy and y'all family don't want to take care of y'all. Y'all orphans. Y'all these are teenagers, so they kind of just trying to just push our buttons basically." And so when I come out, they're saying all of this shit to him and trying to provoke him to fight, and they pushing him. But it's like three of them, three or four. And his brother is with him, but he's like 11. And so he kind of outnumbered, and his brother is 11. So his brother's kind of scared and or whatever. So here, when I see them doing it, I come out of the house. And so I know it's like three. So I come out of the house. And so now it's 2 against 3. And while that's not even odds, we got a little chance here. If I could do something to even the odds. So, honey, I come outside. Y'all know they already don't fuck with me because I'm the gay boy, but I'm the fighting gay boy. So let's get it popping. And so we get to when I come outside, honey, I'm throwing dirt in people's faces. One. Let's wear it out. Let's try to even these odds up. And Brian got some hands. Brian got some hands, and he be slamming niggas. So he running around slamming motherfuckers, and I'm hitting boom, 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 boom. So the whole neighborhood is seeing us beating us two beating 3 dudes up. So it's really fire. And so me and Brian get real cool after this. We was already cool, but after this, we get real close because the people who were out there that was in the group home with us was the white boys. And sometimes there's like this racial divide. Sometimes it's a queer versus not queer, and queer not being gay, but queer being weirdos. Like it was there's a divide in that. Like you got the regular straight boys and you got the musical gay or weirdo, you know. At the time, like alternative rock motherfuckers that listen to Nirvana or that had piercings and shit, because that wasn't cool like it is now for black folks. Back then Motherfuckers with piercings and shit was kind of like alternative black folks. You feel what I'm saying? So sometimes it'll be that kind of either a racial divide or that kind of weirdo versus regular people divide, or age versus young, or crazy versus sane. There were some crazy boys in the house and some sane ones. So it just depends on where you stood. And so in this time, in this moment, there were some white boys that was in our group home, and they weren't coming out to fight. And we thought they was some bitches for that. But I did come out to fight, so me and Brian kind of got cool. And so in the process of that getting cool, me and Brian started to mess around, you know, do sexual stuff, and um yeah, we just had a good old freaky time in late in the midnight hour. And so so this is so this is how we kind of got close. And so in this time, we're also going through the same kind of shit because his mom was on drugs too. And he got a little brother. Yeah, on some level I could. Um and he has a little brother. I have a little brother. We just had so much in common that we related to each other. So much in common in regards to our scenario, in regards to our being the oldest of our siblings. Um and so at nighttime, we would be just kind of cuddling and talking about shit. We'd be cuddling and talking about shit, um and we just had a connection. Like there's a connection. There is a connection, like a brotherhood, a connection. And then when you add that kind of sexuality component, it's something magical that happens a little bit. And so yeah, it was a strange fall in love kind of moment. Puppy love kind of moment. so since this is so I want to read our messages. So in recent time, he had slid, he spent the block. And so he hit me up and he asked me, yo, when did I move? He said, I see you had to get away from Indianapolis. And he sent me some pictures of his new self because he a grown man now and got a body and he looking good. And so he sent me a message. He was like, I see you had to get away from Indianapolis. And he said, I used to have so much fun with you. I said, yeah, Indy is whack. LOL. Yes, we did have a lot of fun. Now, mind you, it's a bunch of stuff that done happened since, I done became a full grown woman. And he done became a full grown man. And so this is the first time that we get to, you know, see each other in our full grownness. um, and I said, I was like, I don't really come back no more because my mom passed away. And there's really not nobody there that much. I was like, but I'm sure I'm gonna come back rarely for maybe some events or da 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 da. He was like, if you do, come see me. And I was like, why don't you come to Houston? And he's like, when? I was like, whenever you want, just let me know. He was like, "How about New Year's?" I was like, "Oh, New Year's, that's kind of quick. This New Year's coming up." I'm like, "Oh, that's kind of quick." He was like, "Okay." I was like, "I will be here, but I don't know what's gonna be going on. But if you let me know, if you come down, I'll make time for you, whatever." Um, I said, "But tell me what's been going on in your life." And he was like, I said, "I heard you went to prison because through the grapevine, another element of the brotherhood of the group home, there is a level of us. There has not been a boy that I was in a group home with that has not reached out to me at some point. And this ain't just the ones that I had. The ones, if you lived in a group home with me, at some point in our adult lives, you have reached out. That's just, I don't know what it's about, but there is I call it a brotherhood because at the time I was a little young little boy. Um, but it's a connection that we have. It's just because we always going through our shit. So every one of them as an adult has reached out to me. Every single one. And so in that process of reaching out, you ask about other people. You was like, "Oh, have you seen Antonio? Have you seen da da da? Have you seen Sam? Have you seen Gerald? Have you seen blah blah blah?" And so one of the times when I asked had they seen Brian, they said he had got locked up. And so he said, I said, "I heard you, I went to prison." He says, "Yes, I did. Um, um, when did you get out?" And he was like, "Recently." Not recent. He said a couple of years ago. Um, I was like, "Oh, that was a while ago." I was like, "I'm glad you stayed out." And he was like, "Yeah, I got two little girls now." And he sent pictures of his little girls. And then he sent some more pictures of that body. That body is hitting. And I put, I was like, I was like, "You done got thick and sexy." He was like, "Yes." He was like, "I'm trying to be." And he was like, "Damn." He was like, "You look good yourself." And so I sent some pictures of myself and my body. And he was like, "Woo." He was like, "You done grown up and grown out." I was like, "Yes." He was like, "Damn, you look good." I was like, "Thank you. You too." I was like, I said, "I really missed your ass when you left Evan's house," which is the name of the group home. He was like, "Really?" I said, "Yeah." He was like, that place made me put on my boots." I was like, and this is the first time we talking since that era. So we hadn't seen each other. And so I was like, well, I said, when you live with folks so long, you grow to care about them. And when he said, I was like, how every time you do that mischievous laugh, I crack up. um, um, And when he says this place told me helped me put on my boots, and I was like, "How so?" I was like, "It made me realize." He says it made me realize that my family wasn't shit, and I was like, "Same," because I had to. It was when I realized that my family wasn't shit. They tried to pretend like they're these good people, but these are literally me at the time. I'm literally a kid, and we don't. I don't have nowhere to go. I have to go to a group home. And I got so much family in this city, and I ain't got nowhere to stay. It was so me looking back as an adult. I was like, "Oh, y'all really wasn't shit." And it wasn't like I was some kid to tear up shit. That was bad. I wasn't that kind of kid. It's just that they weren't shit. Nobody wanted to step up. Um, and part of it is these are not your kids. So my mother was acting crazy, not to them, but they just didn't want to get into the process of that. And I get it, but it still was like, damn, y'all, y'all real judgy of so much shit, but y'all not good people. Um, Same. So he was like, so I had to make it on my own. I said, I feel you. I think that's why we connected. And he was like, and until this day, I still don't go around my family at all. And then he says, I really was in love with you. I was like, oh, even your brother? because this is a text thread and saying different stuff at different times. He says, "Oh, he's the only one. My brother's the only one that I fuck with. I don't fuck with nobody else." I was like, "Oh, good. I'm glad that you fuck with him." I was like, "Well, I think that we was in love with each other," and he was like, "Yeah, I think so too. I think I." He was like, "It just, I had never felt that yet." He was like, I was like, we were too young to know how to process the feeling in the situation. And he was like, I know, right? I said, I wish I would have known back then, but I just didn't. He said, I wish I would have told you back then. I was like, why didn't you? And he was like, I didn't know how to. I'm telling you right now, though, I was in love with you and I still am in love with you. I say LOL. I was like, it's been too long for it to be love in that way, though. And he was like, in what way? What you mean? I was like, it could have been true back then, but now it's been too long. You don't love me now. And he was like, that's not true. Love is love. It don't really ever die. I was like, maybe. I was like, when it's, especially if it's a real love, and I think it was a real love. I was like, I just think it was our circumstances and we're young. So it felt like love. I was like, but why do you think it was love? Cause honey, I was making your little dick nut. And he was like, no, because we connected. I said, we did connect. I said, it felt like love, but I said, it felt like love, but he was like, we understood each other. I said, yeah, we did. I said, it felt like love, but as an adult who have had love, the experience of love in a healthy way, that wasn't love. We were kids. And he was like, well, we both grown now. And I was like, hmm. And I said, we didn't understand what it was at the time. It didn't have a chance to grow into love the way I consider what I consider love now. I said I do consider it care. We care for each other a lot. Um, I remember hugging on you when you were crying about your family. So in this scenario, remember I told you that my mom kept fucking up and not getting her shit together so I can get out of the group home. Because that's why you're in the group home with people. It's also like it gives you some bragging rights when you can go home. Like if you're when your parents visit or when you can go visit your family, it almost gives you some kind of bragging rights. But if you don't have a family to go home to, because during the weekends you can get a pass, like a pass to go with your family, and then you just come back Sunday night. Like you go stay with them if it's a safe place. Like if you got a safe family but they're not ready for you to come, um, you can get a pass to stay with your family from Friday to Sunday because it's not school night. So you go Friday night and then come back Sunday. And it was like a bragging thing. And there were certain kids who didn't have safe families, who didn't have good families, who it wasn't a safe place to go back home, or they were literally abandoned by their children, by their parents, and they were literally or orphans. It was kind of sad because there was half of the fucking home will go to their family for the weekend. And when they come back, they'll have like new shoes, they'll have like stuff. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's kind of make you feel bad because if you don't have a good parent, you stuck staying at this group home all weekend, and you don't really have nobody like family that loves you or family that cares for you. And so it could be kind of sometimes the most of the people will be there will have shitty ass families, so y'all all stay. And that's when it kind of you don't feel alone. But then there's sometimes, remember I told you the who fluctuates, people rotate in and out, and who fluctuates, it depends. So sometimes it'll be a whole group of people who do got families. So you got three out of the whole 8 people, 3 of them I'll be the one to stay home. And that's when it kind of gets kind of depressing and sad because you don't have a lot of y'all. And especially if it's people that you don't like, that you don't connect with. Like if it was me and this dude named the fat one named Steve, I didn't like him at all. Steve and David. If it was us three, I wouldn't feel connected with them because I don't like them. And so We all in this damn house alone because we ain't got no family. So it's kind of sad and it kind of makes you feel bad as a kid. And yeah, it sucks. So Brian, I had already made up my mind that my mama wasn't gonna be shit. Like my mama wasn't gonna get off drugs. And so my mind was made up that I was gonna be there till I was 18, which is what happened. Until I was 17 when I got emancipated. But Brian was still in the hopes that his mother would get off drugs and he would be able to stay with her. And she kept fucking up and he didn't want to give up on the idea like I did. I gave up on the idea. Because I had been dealing with my mom for a while, like dealing with her. Well, at the time, since I was like 10, and so she just kept on fucking up. So by this time, I just thought that it wasn't gonna do anything. But he just kept having faith in his mama. But his mama kept on fucking up, kept on getting high. She was stealing. She had stole one of his vouchers. it just she had she it just was she was doing so much shady stuff to him. And so one time she had stole his voucher. And so what happens is, white women and their performative, they love to be um, helping the community, which I appreciate it, but sometimes it can be just a performance. They don't really care about us. They'll call the police on you. They'll see little black kids in that neighborhood, they'll call the police on them, but then they'll come to like a group home and, ooh, we want to sponsor you for Christmas. Excuse me, we want to sponsor you for Christmas so we you support wayward children. So what will happen during the holidays is this group of women, we call them the auxiliary women. This group of women will pick one of the kids and they have a certain limit of amount of money to spend on the kid. So it could be up to $500. And so every kid will get a up to $500 worth of gift, a voucher from them to get shoes, to get clothes, to get whatever you wanted to get with your money. And his mother, Brian's mother, stole his voucher on when he went on their visit. And she smoked it up on some crack. Now, Brian was not going home to his mom. Brian was going home to his grandmother because his grandmother was the safe house. He wouldn't be able to go back to his mom because his mom is on drugs. But his grandmother, he would got approved to go to his grandma's house, which was a lot of time what was common is you get approved to go to your safe grandma's house, but your mama or your daddy, whoever's the drug addict, would be there, would come over. That was really, really common. I was that way too. My grandmother was the safe house. So I could I could get my grandmother as the pass and my mother would be there like for the holidays or whatever. So he had went to his grandma's house and apparently his mother stole his voucher. So now all the other kids got their vouchers and it's the holidays and he don't have his vouchers to be able to get any gifts. So he's sitting there with no gifts during the time that we all got gifts. It sucks. And so we have like a living space. It's like a living room space where all the games are, like video games and stuff. And then there's another living room space. And so the other living room space got the Christmas tree and got the gifts where everybody is in there talking and they don't open up their gifts. And so he ain't got no gifts. So he's in the video game space. And I go in there and he got nothing but crocodile tears. Not crocodile tears. Tears coming down his face just while he's playing a game. And I come in and I sit next to the couch. I sit, he's sitting on the couch playing the game and his tears is on his face. And so I sit on the arm of the couch and I'm just kind of sitting there awkwardly because I know why he's crying and I don't want to make any attention to him. But I sit right next to him. And then I don't know what moved me to do it is just me caring about him. And I took my arm and put it around him. And I guess me doing that made the emotions just flow. And he just started bawling and put his head down on my lap and was just crying, 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 just because of what happened. Um, so it was so sad because I knew the feeling about about his mom, and because I knew I wanted my mama to get better too in regards to her addiction. And my mom had my mom had stole from me before. So I knew everything he was feeling. I knew the bottom line emotion of what he was feeling, the betrayal, the still loving your mother and she do something shady, the anger of it, everything he was feeling, I knew the feeling because I had experienced it with my mom. And so he just bursted out crying, and it was so devastating. It just was embarrassing. It was embarrassing. It was not embarrassment of him, but just I know the embarrassment of your mother doing that and you not having nothing, and you in the middle of Christmas and don't have it. So, and it wasn't, I would have bought him something with my little voucher, but we had already bought stuff. You get what I'm saying? We had already they already took us shopping for the stuff, so I couldn't get his stuff. Anyway, so yeah. And so that's what he was talking about. Um, so I was like, I said we didn't understand what it was. It didn't have a chance to grow. I was like, I remember hugging you when you were crying about your family. He was like, yeah, I remember. I was like, and sucking your damn thumb, because he was one of them kids that sucked their thumb like that all the time. And so much so that he had that kind of, he got it fixed now, but you know how when people suck their thumb, it makes that kind of that teeth stuff that you can tell that they suck their thumb. Um, and he was like, I'm grown now and I don't suck my thumb no more. I was like, LOL. Um, I was like, I wish you had tried to find me as an adult. I was like, I wish, because it could have been a whole different scenario. We could be in love and married by now. And he was like, I didn't know how to find you. I said, I know, me either. He was like, I used to talk to my cousin. Yeah, because it acts like braces when you suck your thumb all the time. Yes, so it shifts your teeth. Um, and he was like, I used to ask my cousin Mikey about you all the time. And I was like, what did he say? Because I know he hate her. Now let me give y'all some tea on Mikey. Here you go. He was like, as I know he's a hater. He was like, he used to tell me all he was like, he used to tell me he didn't know where you were all the time. I said, I'm sure he did, but he would never tell you where I was. I was like, he knew exactly where I was. And he was like, but he's literally my real cousin. And he would make passes at me. I said, I know. That's why he didn't tell you about me. Because he wanted you and he didn't want me to have you, but he didn't know that I had already had you. Anyway, he says, I kind of thought that to myself. I was like, Mikey has known me since 95. All them folks, he been knowing me for years. He follow exactly what the fuck I be doing, and he hits me up all the time, trying to come stay with me. He knew exactly what I was. He was like, I couldn't tell. I could tell that he didn't know by the way he looked at me when I asked him about you. I said, I'm sure. He was like, that was just last year. I said, right, last year. I said, I see I said, you see that nigga is on my list right now. He stay hitting me up. He know how to find me. He was like, yeah, I see. So anyway, I found you. And he was like, yeah, I'm glad you did. So he has a cousin named Mikey. And Mikey is a butch queen who he's one of the first people that I met in the gay club. Like in the gay scene, he was one of the first people. He was one of them gay boys that were overly sexual, trying to do it to everybody. He was one of them gay boys. It could be a gay boy, trade, trans woman. Mikey, honey, he was just sexually free, even when we were teenagers. Um, and so like the first time I seen like gay boys just be getting naked and do freaky stuff, Mikey. He just was one of them people. And so I say, Mikey knows me. Mikey has known me for years, for years, for years, for years. And what's funny is Mikey has always, to me, wanted to be a trans woman. He always hanging around trans women. He'll get up in geesh every, Halloween or something. But recently he has transitioned. And so he's living his truth 40 years later. But when we were younger, I was like, nigga, you want to be a trans woman too, but you just would look ridiculous. So Brian, anytime he would Brian would mention me or say something about me, Brian would be a hater because Mikey secretly liked Brian. Mikey secretly liked Brian. I think if he would have had a chance to have his own cousin, he would have had him. But because Brian clearly like me, so imagine the Butch Queen has a straight cousin, a trade cousin that is supposed to be straight, that is asking him about his trans friend that he knows me, but he doesn't know that we've already dealt with each other because we lived in a group home together. But now his straight cousin is coming to him like, oh yeah, I remember them. I remember her. She used to live in a group home with me. What's her number? Where's she at? He trying to find me through his cousin because he know his cousin fucking know me. But his cousin is a hater and will constantly say, oh, I don't know where she at. But his cousin also is constantly in my inbox talking about whatever. Well, I'm trying to get on Simone's, girl. Where the Moans at? I'm trying to come to Houston. I'm trying to get out of Indianapolis. Let me come stay with you. Always trying to be a messy butch queen. But also being a damn hater. Anyway, everything happens for a reason. So, what's good in your life? Are you on papers? Because remember, he said he had got into prison a while back. So, what does that mean? Does that mean because now it's like, oh, we grown now, so you need to come on down to Houston, honey. Let me see what the grown man body do. So I was like, are you on papers? Because if you're on papers, you can't travel like that. Right. Annoying. And so I say, he was like, where you I was like, so do you gotta he was like, nah, I'm not on papers. He was like, I've been off papers. I was like, oh, that's what's up. He was like, I've been on my job for 4 years. I was like, oh my God, you not on papers and you got a job? My kind of man. And I asked him where he worked. I was like, oh, that's nice. So he sends me pictures of him at his job. I was like, oh, okay, I'm so proud of you. He was like, yeah, I've been a manager for like 3 years. I was like, that's what's up. I said, that is really, really good. I'm really proud of you because usually motherfuckers get out of prison and go back. I was like, you always been a good dude with a good heart. Sneaky, but overall good. He said, LOL. Um, So he gets to talking about how just his job and what he do at his job, and he was like, yeah. I was like, oh, that looks good. Is your credit good? Because now I gotta see what else you got. You working? You do your thing? What's up? I was like, is your credit good? He was like, yeah, it's good. I'm in the 700. I'm in the low 700s. I was like, okay, it can come up, but that's good. And I was like, oh, that's nice. And he was like, off the subject, he was like, your ass look beautiful. I was like, thank you. Now, I guess he's going back and look at the pictures that I saw him. So he says, he was like, how you get your body like that? And I was like, oh, Lamone's here, Lamone's there, water. Drinking water, working out, drinking water, eating real good. It's just stuff. I was like, oh, he was like, oh, that's what he was like. You look fire as fuck. He was like, I never expected, water. Is this Gerald? No, not Gerald. No. This is not Gerald. I've not talked about this dude. I explained it earlier. I've not talked about him because he wasn't one of the ones like Gerald. Gerald was one of the ones. This is a whole other dude that's been the block back recently. And he was like, if you want, he was like, I knew that you probably was gonna be a girl, but so many of the folks that I knew that I thought was gonna be girls, he says they kind of detrend. He was like, they just was doing drag. He was like, you really turned to a woman. Yes, baby, I'm a woman, baby. And he was like, a damn good looking woman. I was like, thank you. I was like, is that dick still beautiful? With your birthmark? So his dick was huge, and he had a and he had a like a like a birth, like a not a it's not vitiligo. It's like a birthmark on his piece. And so he's definitely somebody that you can't send no dick picture because you know that this is his dick because of the birthmark. Um mm, I was like, is it that dick still beautiful with the birthmark? He was like, yes. I said, LOL. He was like, it's just bigger. And I was like, it was big then. I was like, let me see. I was like, it was already big, so I know that motherfucker right now. And he sent me a picture. And just like a boring ass hood nigga, he don't know how to take no pictures. So we go back and forth about it. I was like, honey, you need to cut some lights on, honey. And the flash or something. You is too dark to be taking pictures in no lights. Come on, cut some lights on. So he took some picture with some lights on. I was like, there we go. um. Anyway, when are you coming back? I was like, he was like, so anyway, when you coming back to the city so I can get a hold of you? I was like, oh, I don't know. I don't know when I'm gonna be back in Indy. Probably, I don't know. And he was like, all right, I'm gonna have to make my way back. I'm gonna have to make my way to Houston. He was like, because we gotta reconnect and maybe we can try this love thing. I was like, oh. Well, I'm kind of bitter about love now, but we'll see. See how we connect. And he was like, we're going to connect because we got history. I was like, maybe, but we also have been through life at this point. So we don't know where our mindset is. He was like, don't be negative. We don't know what's going to happen. But don't put no negative mentality in it right now. Shit, at least give it a chance. I was like, you right, but it is what it is. You right. He's like, all right, I got to go back to work. I'll talk to you later. So that was the end of the conversation right at that moment. So this happened about like a month ago. Next thing I know, I get a message from him saying, "Do I know you, sweetie?" Now, as an escort, as an ex escort, anytime somebody is messaging you from somebody you 100% know, whether it be a text message, whether it be Instagram, wherever, and they start asking you weird ass questions, it's one of their bitches. It's their girl. It's something. It's fish down. So I don't respond to it, but I clock the T. Understand that. And so he says, when was they like when was the last time we was together? Shit like that. As if you stupid. I don't respond to that shit because I'm like, child. Um, so let me see what time it is because y'all know I gotta get okay, I got a couple of time. I got some time. Um I was like, who? So I see him online, and then I see him engaging. He commented on one of my posts or whatever. So I sent him a message because now that I know now he's commenting, I know he's online and it's him. I sent him a message. I was like, why did you send this? And I screenshotted it. And I was like, he was like, what? I said, your girl must have messaged me. And he was like, what are you talking about? I said, she asked me, do I know you? And he was like, who? He was like, I don't have no girl. I said, somebody hit me up from your account asking, do I know you? I assumed that it was your old lady. He was like, but I don't have one. I'm just saying. And I sent the the um the text message. I sent the screenshot. And he was like, damn, that says it was me, but that wasn't me. I wasn't asking. I wouldn't have asked you that. And he was like, I was like, well, somebody asked me that. And he was like, I don't remember. Unless I just sent that because I was drunk or something, but why would I not remember you? I was like, exactly. I was like, I think it was your gal. He's like, I ain't got no gal. I was like, okay. Or a new girl, something. And ever since that message, so I said, or a new girl or something. He was like, nah, I ain't got no gal. I was like, what's your number? He does not respond and doesn't respond after that. So either, and then fast forward to now when I go to his page, he's booed up with fish. A piece of fish that I know that knows me. Now, she is some. Now, what I know is you had to see the rest of the messages because if you done got into his account, I know you scrolled up to see what we was talking about. So now you done got popped with the history of your trade in my tea. Selling the moon and the stars, child. Uh-huh. But she got her a earful, a eyeful, because if she scrolled up, because this is one of the messages, all you gotta do is scroll up, it doesn't erase. Um, if she scrolled up, she saw what we was talking about, which is hilarious. One second. So he has spun the block, and it was a nostalgic moment because it was a vibe that we had, and we did have a moment, and I was like, oh, but you are a grown adult dude now, full of the games and pipe dreams that the rest of them are. um then recently, this ain't gonna be as long, not long at all, but then recently, I had a video back in the day called Birthday Closure, and a video called Came on the Bus, Left on the Bus, something like that. The guy in those videos, he recently had a life or death surgery situation. They found a tumor in his brain. And so he had to get surgery, and he survived the surgery. They said they were telling him that he had a low chance of surviving the surgery, and he survived it. And so he randomly sends me a message, nothing long and drawn out, but his essential message was essentially saying that since he's gone through this life changing, life or death surgery and survived it, he's been thinking about all the people in his life who actually had his back, because in this situation, nobody was there for him but his mother. And he was like, everybody else kind of failed him. And he was like, you in my whole life was the only person that never failed me. I failed you. And I'm looking at his message like, because this is my first love. So this is my like first mutual love. You know, I had Eric and Gerald in high school, but they was down low. It was on the down low. So it wasn't what I consider mutual open love. This dude was my first open, mutual, live together, navigating the world together love. And so I look at him, yeah, that's putting it real lightly. You did fail me. You did fail me. And it's taking you till we get in our 40s for you to figure that out. Okay, bro. Appreciate you. So he's spinning the block. And so now every week he's sending me messages talking about, what did he say? Let me read. I'm really proud of you. I wish that life with us would have been different. But I just want you to know that I look back finally on our time together, and I've had time to reflect. Now, this is after he gave me the whole message about reflecting. This is like another day. So I responded that day, like, oh, that's so sweet. I'm sorry that this is happening to you. I was really just nice. Like, I'm sorry it happened to you, but I'm glad you recovered from your surgery. I hope it works out. Happy healing, blessings. I'll keep you in my prayers. Dry, direct, but nice. And so then a couple, like 4 days later, that's when he comes back with, I think fondly on our experience together and blah, 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 blah. So I respond, yeah, you told me. Congratulations on your recovery. Because nigga, our ending was toxic and gross. It wasn't positive and beautiful. It was toxic and gross. You were trying to steal coins from me. You were betraying me, cheating on me. You were trying to get me back for surviving, trying to help us survive, and it was ugly. We had a beautiful situation and you ruined it because of your ego, because of your part of it was the social economic shit that we were going through, but it also was you just making horrible selfish decisions to harm me when you could have just let me alone. Um yeah, it was horrible. And then he was like, I know. I just I just wish it was a whole difference. Ooh, 1 second. This is my Amazon package. Yay. Thank you. Ooh, these are heavy. What are these? Y'all see me open. Sometimes you do not know what you be ordering. I do not. These are heavy as shit, and I do not know what they are. Oh, I know what they are. Did I order 2 boxes? Really? I must have ordered 2 boxes on accident. Oh, that's wrong. I didn't want to order 2. That's stuff. Damn. I think that was an accident. All right, I want to see what it is. It's nothing. Fabulous. So I bought these drinks at this restaurant, not this restaurant, at this grocery store, this specialty grocery store from called Central Market here in Houston. It is one of the HEB. It's the specialty HEB store. If you are in Texas, it's HEB, but it's like a specialty one. It's called Central Market, and these motherfuckers are fire. It is deep rose, and this is rose lemonade. It is so good. And so I bought 2 cases of rose lemonade. Might as well drink one. Ah, so delicious. Love it, love it, love it. Anyway, put this over here till we get done. All right. So that's my spin the block story that I wanted to tell y'all about. Do y'all deal with some of y'all spin the block stories? I know y'all have them. Y'all are quiet. Hmm. These are so good. It's usually a friend. I don't even entertain past love interests trying to spin the block. Why? Got me crying and laughing. Oh, sorry. What was sad about it? Oh, the his story. Yeah, it was sad. I don't attempt romance with old flings. If we reconnect, it's to fuck, and that's it. See that part of it. I've never split the box. I always feel like it's bullshit. But I don't like spinning the block sexually either. Not with my exes. Cause usually my exes, y'all fucked up. So I don't want you. I know I rock your world, my nigga. So I'm not about to not about to have act. We about not about to be fuck buddies. So you can have the sexual side of me and not do the work that comes with the love side. No, hell no. And I'm a Pisces too. I feel like with somebody that I've already been in love with, I can't play that, keep it cute. I'd rather do that with a stranger that I never loved. I feel people spin the block just to see if they have access to you. Yeah. And use it if that access is just sexual. No. Mm-mm. I remember my ex used to, you know, after our shit was over, he would even try to offer me like money, like on some escort shit. Nigga, get the hell out of here. Make sure y'all thumbs up if you're watching. Mm. I don't know. I feel like I had this. I talked about this dude in a wheelchair my members only section. It's kind of problematic, so that's why it's behind the paywall. But um, there was another dude that I met. I remember 2000 and it had to be like 2009. Me and my homegirls went out for Halloween, and I was a vampire, and I had on y'all remember my video called the woman dress, that the leather dress that zipped down and zipped from the bottom. So I had on the woman dress. So I looked like a vampire Trinity from from the Matrix, all leather boots, leather dress. I just looked like a badass fire ass vampire. I had on these fire ass silver earrings that were just like they're just gorgeous. And then I had my teeth, my vampire teeth in, red lip. I had painted my every part of my body that you could see, I had painted it to where it looked like pale. Um a very, very pale color. Um, and then I had on a red lip. and had cold rim my eyes. It was fire. Hey, Ann Moore. Um, and so we all went out, and so I'm looking like a fine, sexy vampire. Titties, boost. I was looking fire. It actually was one of my favorite Halloween experiences because I just look so cute to myself. I was like, oh, I look fire. I look so good as a vampire. And so let me see if I can find a picture because I think I took a picture because I was so cute in it. Um, but come on, Akasha, Sovereign Queen of the Damn. Yes, I wasn't Akasha, but I was fire as I was a fire as I looked the cutest shit to me. Um this is me in the dress that similar to that. This is the dress. This is the literal dress, but this my hair was different. But y'all see how fire I was fucking looking. I was looking so cute. But I this was a different hair. My hair, but I was looking good as fuck, baby. I went in that club and them niggas was on me, baby. This is literally what I was giving. And then I walked in that. We had went to a straight club, and yeah, I had a bob and a red lip. I know I had posted the picture. Where did I post that fucking picture? But yeah, I had a bob and a red lip, and it would just I don't know if I styled it perfectly or whatever, but I know that when I walked in the room in the club, they were this is the bob that I had. This is the hair. This is around the same time. I'm on my old page. So bitch, I was so cute when I was young. So young and cute. But this is the hair that I had on. And but I had a red lip, same dress, same day of the other picture, but I was given Twilight realness, baby. Twilight, why can I not find that fucking picture? Because the teeth really set it off. The teeth made it lit. But the teeth really just said Halloween. Anyway, I can't find it. But I was looking good. And so I walked into the club and the niggas was on me, baby. They was just on me. They was like, they was just eating me up. So I'm tipping through, acting real light skin, stuck up, red bone, stuck up, red bone fish, honey, tipping through. And this dude that I had seen online, and I had never seen him in person, and oh my God, Diamond, I haven't seen you in a minute. You looking so good. Oh, thank you. I don't feel like I look good today, but I'm gonna look good in a few couple of hours. I'm gonna be getting fly for this gala. I got about an hour and a half to start getting ready. Um so anyway, so ooh, so anyway, I go into the club and there's this dude that I've been seeing online and I got like this little online crush on him because he is so cute. He's like 6'4" and fine and just so handsome. And I've been eyeing him, but And he always messages, we message back and forth, but I've never told him my tea. And so this is our first time seeing each other in person. And he sees all the other dudes like kind of like chasing me, and I'm kind of giving that girl in the club. And so he sends me a message while we were in the club. And so I come over to him and tap him on his shoulder, and he turned around. He was like, "Oh, you got these niggas in here going crazy, trying to get you to bite them." He was like, "But he says, they trying to get you to bite them." And I say, I was like, "But I'm real selective about who I turn." Like we making a Halloween vampire joke. And so he is Freddy Krueger. He got the striped shirt, and he looks like Freddy Krueger. And he's like, without the burns, he's still looking cute, but he got the hat and the green and red shirt. And so, but now that he sees me in person, I get that, not the courage, but I feel like, ooh, I'm gonna tell him my tea, because at least you see that I can get through in public. You feel what I'm saying? Because what none of the trade clocking me. So, and they was living, so at least I can sell you on that part. So when I told him my tea was his leg. Mm-mm. But he never deleted me. Like in regards to like how he responded, he just like, oh, that's not my thing, and never deleted me off his list, which is what usually they do. They'll just kind of delete you. But he didn't. He kept me on his list. Sometimes I hit him up, like say not hit him up, but you know how like you on Facebook or whatever, and somebody posts like a story, and you laugh or comment on the story, and he wouldn't respond, which is cool. Do you? This is like 2009. Fast forward to 2015, he gets in a bad, horrible car accident. Horrible car accident, and it paralyzes him. And so he is in a wheelchair. He's in a bad car accident. And so he gained a little bit of weight, not unattractive weight, where he still looked like himself or whatever. But he's in the wheelchair, and he done grew his dreads out. He still look good, but he's in a wheelchair. It's not my tea. And so this nigga had the nerve over the summer to spin the block, girl. And slide back into my DMs after ignoring me for years. But now you in the wheelchair. You ain't pulling. You ain't that 6'4" ain't looking too 6'4" in that chair. It ain't pulling the ladies like you was pulling when you wasn't in the chair. And so you done spent the block back to the TS. And I was like, no. Oh no. Oh no, sweetie. Mm-mm. You should have got me in 2009 when your legs still work. He was over it. I was over it too, baby, in 2009. Now it's your turn to be over it. Good luck with that. That's what I'm talking about. More often than not, they spin the block like you still live for me. I want to feel wanted. Exactly. And I'm not that girl. There's only one that would make me fold and go running back to him, but the rest can kick rocks. There's way too many people to keep going back to the same person. that didn't work out. That it didn't work out with. True. I feel that way too. I'm trying to think, is there any one? I would go back with Eric. Like if Eric, Eric got too much shit going on now. Eric is a cokehead now. And I feel like cokehead is one step from a crackhead. Yeah, not even it ain't even one step. You still an addict. You just in a different. So Eric done got on drugs, and one of my fears. This is serious, y'all. Like one of my fears of life is I fall in love with somebody and get in a long term love relationship with them, and they get an addiction. Oh, that would be devastating to my life. I would be devastated. I would be devastated. And so, while Eric is one of the ones of my life that I would give a chance, I would want to give a chance. I wouldn't give him a chance because he has an addiction now. I don't know how far his addiction has gone, but when we reconnected recently, I asked him, does he do coke? And he said, yeah. So let's give a cokehead. It's strange. They almost expect you to be single. They watch and keep you as an option. Does yuck. Hey, Shonette, how are you? I can't believe I got 2 boxes of these. That is crazy. Let me look at my Amazon order. No, they just accidentally sent me 2. I live. I only pay for one. And they literally they sent me a double. That is fire. I love that. That's my kind of accident. I love that kind of accident. They sent me 2 boxes. Now, what would suck if they sent me the if they sent me another flavor. Nope, they sent me the same flavor. Um, even if he got clean, yeah, I'm scared of that. Get clean. Remember, I had a 30-year run of my mother getting clean and getting relapsing, getting clean, relapsing. I just that would be devastating to be in love with somebody like that. No. Spinning the block can be just a stop and go. When is the book coming out? I have no idea. I don't have a deadline. I have all the chapters written. I have sent the manuscript out to my publishers, and they have sent it back to me for edits, and I'm in the middle of editing, accepting or adjusting the editing. Um, I've decided to add another chapter, two other chapters. Um, so yes, I have no idea, but I just want it to be right. I want it to be something that I'm comfortable with. I want it to be something that is thorough in my eyes. I'm a perfectionist, so I just want it to be right. So I'm it's gonna be on my it has to be on my own time. And I don't do well with timelines because I do have ADD, but it's coming. I just I just want it to be right. I just want it to be something that I'm proud of. It once I put it out and I'm proud of it, I don't care about the I'm one of them people that I'll care while I'm creating. And then once I get it to what I consider perfection, it has to be what I consider perfection in order for me to put it out. Because if I'm not comfortable with it and somebody critiques me, I'm going to be offended. I'm going to be offended. I'm going to, and not offended by them critiquing, offended by, I'm going to let myself down. Like, I'm like, damn, I knew it wasn't right and I put it out. If it's right, I can just accept the critique because I did the best I can. If it's right to me, I'm like, oh, that's the best I could do. And I loved it. So if you don't like it, oh, that's just a critique. Like, oh, this is a person that doesn't like it. But if I put out some shit that I feel is mediocre just because I'm rushing it out, um, if I put out some shit that I'm just rushing out, I'm gonna feel bad for myself if somebody critique it and I know. But if it's mediocre because you feel it's mediocre, but I love it because I think it's amazing, then I can accept that. But if I feel it's mediocre and I rush and put it out, um, and I'm not trying to make no fucking Pulitzer Prize book, but I want it to be something that I'm comfortable with. And there are certain parts of it that I love, and there's parts of it that I don't love, and I got to love them. So I'm revamping certain things. Um, but yeah, I don't want to get your hopes up. It's gonna be a book about love. It's gonna be a book about relationships and love. I told y'all this. It's gonna be a book about love, romantic love, familial love, friend love, um, brotherly love. I don't have any um, biological sisters, but then sisterly love, and that's not biological. And then just all love, how love was given to me because of various identities and how it was taken away from me in various identities. Yeah, the intention of the book is actually for parents of queer children. I think it's for queer children and for parents of queer children. Um, yeah, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted something that a parent could read and understand that the world that they create for their children, um, the parts of it that they control is really, really important when it comes to love. And anyway, I want it to be great. And so that's why it's taking so long. Sorry. Are you going to see The Color Purple? Yes, but I will be in Cancun when it comes out because it's coming out, I think, Christmas Day. And so I will be out of town. And so I will have to see it when I come back. Have you seen Black Cake on Hulu? Yes, I got to maybe episode 3 and I got bored and stopped watching it. Um, her and she had the mama had it was a train wreck. So I'm at the part when the train wreck, so I haven't went back to it. I've planned to finish it, but wherever the train wreck, that's where I got to. What episode is that? Whatever episode that was, that's where I'm at. Mm. I tried to watch Black Cake too. I fell asleep. Yeah, I got to the crown. I don't know what episode it is, but I think I just have the last one to watch. It's pretty good. Yeah, I heard it was good, and I don't know. It's certain parts. I'm like, ooh, this is exciting. Like when she was marrying the dude and had to run away, all that kind of stuff. That it started getting cute, and then it get boring, and then yeah, I have to go try to watch it again. I haven't finished either, but it got good in the last episodes I watched. Okay, I can go back to it, but it was given Guava Island. I don't know what it was. It was given Holocaust. Part of it was given Holocaust. It reminded me of a Holocaust movie. It reminded me of um Guava Island. I don't know. It was giving me a bunch. It was just reminding me of a bunch of stuff. Thank you for getting me through the second half of my shift. Yes. Mm. Yes, 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 yes. Well, all right, y'all. I have to start washing my tail and getting ready for my event. So I will chat with y'all next week. Make sure you check out the podcast, March's Plate. We talked about Dwight Howard this week. We talked about Diddy and Cassie this week. We talked about what else? Yeah, we talked about down low niggas. We talked about sexual exploration as activists. Like, does it? She asked us. One of the questions Bree Star asked was, do we kind of adjust how we engage in community on a sexual level because we are community activists, and so we kind of explore that kind of idea and how that resonates with us. We talk about some cute little stuff, of course, harm and sexual assault a little bit, and DL men, like what do they contribute to queer community? We talk about a lot of stuff, so make sure y'all check it out. If you are a member, you've already watched the videos. The videos are in the are there. But yes, all right. I will talk to y'all next Thursday. I'm gonna try to do Thursday at 7. But bye, y'all. Make sure y'all thumbs up and click the notification bell. Bye bye. Wait, let me do the special thumbs up. Let me see if it'll do it. Hey, y'all got me. Let me do the white people stuff. Why it's not working? Oh, I gotta do it like this. Yay! All right, y'all. I'll talk to y'all later. We gotta incorporate that in the show.